Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. I'm Vidya and today I'm going to share with you some of my son's favorite open-ended toys. He is 3.5 years old now and I see him playing with these for several more years. So they are very long lasting, they're good quality, and they also keep his attention for a while. Not in the traditional way, they are not overstimulating. And if you want to learn more about what open-ended play is, check out my other video in this series, the one before this, and you'll know how to buy open-ended toys. So you don't have to just buy these, and you don't have to buy all of these toys. Like, it may seem like excessive to you, or it may seem like that it's not enough toys to you. We'll get into the toys, but before that I want to share a couple more things. If you want to skip ahead, you can, but while introducing your child to open-ended play, you might not want to have high expectations. So for my son, before he started to build with blocks, he learned how to destroy them. So every time I would build a tower, he would first want to watch it fall. So that may be the first thing your child wants to do with open-ended play, in which case you shouldn't be discouraged and think that your child is just not into open-ended play. And I also talked about creating an invitation to play with open-ended toys. So while you're doing that, I would suggest not to go overboard and try to impress them with how amazing the toy is and how amazingly you can create certain things, but keep it simple and make something that your child can easily replicate. Sometimes we get carried away by our own creativity and we want to show them how best you can play with a toy, which just means to the child that they can't come up with such great ideas themselves, right? So for them it's too overwhelming, and then they'll start relying on you to come up with ideas to play, because now they can't think for themselves. If you create something very simple that the child can replicate, they get a sense of accomplishment, and also they get the sense that they can do this, right? It's their toy, they can take it on and do what they want with it. Remember, with open-ended play, the focus is not on the product but on the process. It's not, they don't have directions, so there's no wrong way to play with these toys. So the bottom line is, with open-ended play, let your child come to the toy and explore it at their own pace and don't force it. So let's get started with our favorites. First open-ended toy I think most people like to buy for their kids is Megabloks, and this is a great choice because the blocks themselves are very big. They are not very they don't have very sharp edges, and they are quite safe for children. So for my son, I bought this when he was 1 and he didn't get into it until he was well over 18 months old. And the first thing he did, like I said before, was to destroy the towers that I was building for him. And since then he's been playing with this on and off. You can use these in various learning activities. There are lots of ideas on the internet, and I think that's awesome. Like right now we're doing pattern repetition. Like I make a pattern with a few blocks and he tries to recreate it, and the complexity increases as he gets older. So they're a great thing to start with. And the next step to that would be some Lego Duplos. These are for younger children because the blocks are bigger, so less of a choking hazard. This was a very short intermediate step for us on our way to real actual Legos. Like the smaller Legos we introduced when he was 3 years old. I think that's the recommended age even. So the Legos are popular, you've seen them everywhere, but I would not introduce them to a child who is less than 3 for obvious reasons. They are very sharp and they are very small. You can also add a set of simple wooden blocks to your collection. Those are a great way to start open-ended play. If you want to take it one step further, Magnatiles are an excellent investment in my opinion, because we have been using these non-stop for at least 2 years now. And so these are basically plastic shapes. There are squares, triangles, and I think a couple of different types of triangles, and they come in lots of different colors and sizes. There are plenty of options. So and they are magnetic on all sides. So for little hands, they're very easy to attach and detach, so they can build things very easily. So Vikrant loves these. I like how these are kind of transparent, so you can teach your child color mixing. It's very easy to do. So hold them up against a light and teach them how yellow and blue makes green. So they are a great thing to learn as well. Very satisfying because they're so easy to play with. If you want to take it another step further with magnetic blocks, you can also invest in these magnet what are these? It says a Mustang or something, but there are a lot of generic brands that make magnets like these. So these are also shape magnets with a couple of extra shapes. You have hexagons, more triangles and squares. Some of them have numbers. They come with a couple of sets of wheels like these, which your child can use to make vehicles of different kinds. And you know, Vikrant usually uses a combination of these and Magnatiles in his play. Another thing that he loves using are these blocks, these wooden magnetic blocks. These are amazing. These blocks have poles, so they only attach on one side, which is also a little bit of a challenge for children to figure out when they're trying to build something. He is always building rockets because they're super easy to build and come off, and he will pretend to launch them and separate the stages and then do it all over again. These can also be incorporated in learning games, like you can do repeat the pattern, or you can ask them to guess what could come next in this pattern. So a lot of learning happens in these toys like these. Next are play silks. I used to think that they were overrated until I saw for myself how much my son loves playing with them and how open-ended they are. So my son found my scarf and he got obsessed with it. He was playing with this all the time. So I wanted to buy some play silks for him, but they were so expensive. So I got a set of generic play cloths. I think these are just scarves from Amazon. You get a much better deal on these. These are not original silk, they are just some kind of nylon or something, but they're very soft, and you get a set of different colors, and these can be anything. Vikrant sometimes pretends this is lava coming out from a volcano, or a dragon that's making fire, and these have been wings a lot of times. He likes to carry them to sleep, I think because they're comforting. I think the softness of the silk and how it falls is very I don't know, it's very engaging to the children. And I guess this is a nest now because a few eggs are popping out of this, so he likes to use them as nests for his little birds, blankets for his dolls. When my son was a baby, I used to have a small basket full of fabrics just from around the house with different textures, like a piece of muslin square, a washcloth, a little silk scarf, a piece of woolen something. So different textures for him to get that sensory experience. But when he started getting more imaginative, I found silk scarves are amazing for that. You can get this imitation silk on Amazon like me, or you can invest in Sarah silks, which is the authentic play silks, and they are a little more pricey, but I think they would be completely worth it. But otherwise, these are a good thing to start. All the links will be in the description box below if you want to check them out. To complement with open-ended play, I like to have a little bin full of animal figurines or people or little creatures that he can put in his imaginative play. And I learned about peg dolls. I didn't know about these before I had my son. In Waldorf education especially, peg dolls are given a lot of importance because they don't have any expressions, so they can be anything, right? They can be a boy, a girl, an old man, a young lady, whatever they want. You know, there's some peg dolls that I've painted to kind of give them more character, but there's no expression. So if this doll is crying, it's totally believable, right? But if I say that this doll is crying, it doesn't look like that. It looks like she's smiling, and it's always going to be a girl. So there's not a lot of flexibility. So peg dolls are great because you just have to buy a few and they can lend themselves to any kind of imaginative play. Like there's a lot of different scenarios that your child can dream up with a set of peg dolls. So I like to buy peg dolls also from Amazon, and in a couple of different sizes. So there's some variety for him to choose from. Also some insects, animal figures, whatever your child is interested in. And there's always a debate about whether to buy plastic toys or wooden toys. I would say ideally we would all be buying sustainably sourced, ethically made wooden toys, but a lot of times that's not possible or cost effective. So I mean, based on whatever your position is and whatever you want to spend on your toys, I would say go for the best quality that you can, especially when it comes to open-ended toys. Like other toys you can compromise if you want, but with open-ended toys, because they last for so long, you're going to get a lot of use out of them, and you don't want something that just breaks after a few months and you have to buy again, right? The whole point of buying open-ended toys is that these toys grow with your child, and in the long run you'll find that you're actually buying less toys because they're open-ended. This next one is so popular that you might already have it, or you might have at least seen it in a lot of places. It's the Grimm's Rainbow. This is the largest size, and this is in the pastel colors. This is a set of, I think, 12 pieces. Yeah, 12 pieces, and they come in different sizes. The beauty of this, so there's a lot of features I like about this toy. One is that it's made of course it is wooden, but it's not polished, like it's not that smooth finish. So when your child touches it, they actually feel the grain of the wood, which is excellent. Like I find it very calming when you actually touch natural surfaces like this. And that also means that when you try to stack them, they won't slip, so it's easier for little hands to balance things. And it's a great open-ended toy. You can do a lot of different things with this. This was one of the things that lay on our toy shelf for a while before Vikrant started enjoying it. And this is now always like the backdrop of his creations. There's like endless number of things that he does with this. Sometimes it is a garage for his cars, it is a hangar for his airplanes, it's a cave, it's a tunnel. When his trains go through, he'll make a tunnel with this. So whenever he uses these rainbows, he'll use the semicircles to go with them. And the material is the same. It's that same unfinished wood that is so great to the touch and also very great for building. And you don't have to buy these brands. So this brand is called Grimm's, which is popular worldwide. I think it's European, but I found out after I got these that there are amazing brands in India that are making these exact same toys, which I would have preferred to buy from, but since we are abroad, we had to buy them online, and these were the ones that were available to us. But if you're in India, I would encourage you to check those out as well. Some local toy companies that I saw on Instagram, and I was really impressed at the quality of their craftsmanship. And this is one such toy that I got a generic brand from. I don't even remember what the brand was, just to see the difference in quality. But this is definitely thinner wood than the Grimm's ones, and the finish is not as natural. Like this one is a little bit smoother. But does it compromise his play that much? No, my son doesn't care if it is $100 or $20, and he just wants to build with them, right? So if you can find some local toy stores that make these, that would be excellent. You can even, you know, the amazing thing about open-ended play is that it doesn't have to be any particular shape, right? So you can go to your local carpenter, get a piece of plywood and ask them to cut it up in small squares or rectangles or semicircles, and they'll be happy to do it for you, right? And just sand it on all sides, and there you have a set of nice wooden blocks. And our last favorite is this wobble board, which is a big piece of curved wood. That's also quite popular, and this is amazing for movement play, right? Because it can be rocked on, it can be climbed on. The weight limit is really high, and my son uses it to slide as a slide. Like he'll use it, he'll put it against the sofa or a bed, and it can be an indoor slide for him or his toys. But the reason I'm mentioning it here in open-ended toys instead of movement toys is because it's more than that. It can lend itself to lots of other activities, right? It can be a roof for some house that he's building, or a ramp for his cars, or a tunnel for his vehicles. He's used it as a burrow for his little creatures. He's basically on it the entire time, and I think it soothes him when he's kind of climbing and getting down. He's getting his wiggles out, right? But a few things to note are that it has like it is a little bit heavy, so little fingers might get trapped on it if you have a younger baby that likes to crawl and stuff. And also if you have hard floors, like this is better on a carpet. If you have hard floors or tile floors, it might slip around a little bit, so you could be a little cautious before getting this, or you could add some rubber padding on it, and it would be an amazing toy. So those were all of our favorite open-ended toys. I do hope you found this video useful, because I have a big mess that I have to clean up now, and these toys are always out. I think I should mention that. Like, he has a shelf full of just open-ended toys that I don't even have to rotate because he's constantly using them. So I have to put all these away now, and I'll see you guys in the next video of mine. Until then, you take care. Bye.